Yeah, Film Vault. I was thinking about Grant Baldwin composing this. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Bryan Bishop. We're your hosts for today. Listener assigned Top 5 Princess. Not just any listener, Anderson. The great Florence Bruemmer.
That's right.
Assigned us Top 5 Princess. Timely. Well,
It is.
Little Mermaid.
It is. She gave us a bevy like she does. She goes way out of her way to do a lot of research and give us a choices to choose from. It. We both kind of decided that it was good to do princesses because of Little Mermaid coming out, and also because when else are we going to willfully do or choose to do princesses?
True.
Right? Yeah.
So here we are.
All of yours princesses.
Yes.
All right. Might have a problem.
All of yours are not?
I'd also like to thank everyone who is becoming a part of the latest adventure that is Loaded for Bear. And last I checked, we're up to, I think, 44 or 45 contributors.
All right.
And some big matches just came in the door, and we're doing really, really good things.
Like corporate matching?
Yeah, corporate matching.
Ooh.
And, we're going to be able to... I'm meeting a couple of my producers in LA. They're flying in, and we're gonna do a little. We're gonna shoot some of that where I'm meeting one of them in the person for the first time, and I've been in meetings with her for like 6 months every week, and this will be the first time I ever met her in person. So that's exciting and nerve wracking because I don't like to be on camera for that kind of thing. But we're gonna facilitate that. Mike Carano's gonna shoot all that, and Mike just covered the most recent live show that we did with the actors, with the Born to Act players. So that was great. He covered. I was running out in.
Oh, you were out of town.
No, I was actually in town. I didn't leave to San Francisco until after that show, so I got up there very late. But I was able to actually be a part of the show. Atticus was a part of the show. I was helping assist it, and I was involved in it, which is never comfortable, but it's so much fun. But with a live audience, like that's not why I signed up for this. It's nerve wracking having a live audience out there in front of us. But Atticus did great. All the actors did great. I was. Whenever I had a chance, I'd run out and man the camera or switch a battery out. And Mike was over. We had like 3 cameras going. I think we got some really, really good stuff. So it continues to become a reality. Thanks, due in large part to your buddy Nick Hudson and Entertainment to Affect Change over there. Right. If you'd like to be a part of it or just see what we're doing, see some of the stills that Mike got, and we're going to be adding video to that. And there already is a pitch video on there. It's loadedforbeardoc.com and. From what I understand, it's all nonprofit. I'm not a tax professional, but it should be a write-off. In almost every single case, it will be a tax write-off at the end of the year. It's a nonprofit. So go over to loadedforbeardoc.com. I forgot to do that. And also, I do the weekly updates with Loaded for Bear Doc. Let's Make This Movie, which is like 15, 20 minutes of me either. Like this week, I had Joe Dorville, who's one of my producers, on there, and we talk back and forth. So it's fun. I think I'm gonna have Nick, your boy Nick, who runs Entertainment to Affect Change, which is a really interesting, a very worthy organization, and he's gonna be my guest in a couple weeks. So
cool,
good stuff.
Good stuff, man. Tell Nick I said hello.
I will. I just did an email for him, but I made fun of you in doing so.
Oh, well, that's not what I was going for.
No? Okay. Well,
I want a more genuine hello.
Oh, a genuine hello.
Yeah. I could just text him right now, I guess.
Is that supposed to be like a big balls thing?
No, just saying I could take it in my own hands.
Just a little juice update.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Never forget where it came from. Never forget.
Anything else going on there, Bray?
Were these matching gifts like corporate matching?
Yeah.
Nice.
Chris Moran's corporation, they doubled.
Really?
Doubled. I never heard of that before. Wow. Doubled. And then he also looks like he shook another tree at the same corporation, and they're like, "Oh, we can also help with this." So
wow.
Chris is really contributed.
MVP.
Yeah,
it's making it happen.
Fucking great. He contributed $5, so now we're up to $20.
Nice. Hey, every little bit counts.
No, Chris, I think is going to be an official the producer tag, which is one of the perks or one of the levels over there.
Nice.
It goes, $100, $300, $500, and the top one is the $10,000 level, and you get your name as producer on that bad boy. And I think he's going to be at that with all the matches. That's another thing too. People have been asking me, like, if my corporation, if the company I work at, if they match, would that count towards my level? And absolutely, of course.
Hell yeah.
Money's money.
Yeah. So, it's mainly credits and involvement, and also you get something unique we've been doing is people who are at the $500 and above level, they have access to our weekly producers meetings that we do more weeks than not, probably average 3.5 times a month. and they can sit in. And Florence is one of them.
That's exciting.
Florence is one of our executive producers, and
Watch
she's
your
on
rail
those
cocaine?
meetings. What's that?
Watch your rail cocaine?
Yeah, we usually open up with a little Leslie Claret, like right in the crook of our. ready to get this meeting going. Let's go, Leslie Claret style. But no, it's fun. Eric Robbins, who I just mentioned in the last episode, he's been on there, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's an interesting thing to bring people who want to be a part of it into the fold, and they can see it actually happening in real time. Like right now, we're trying to figure out the best how to best maneuver with strikes that are either ongoing or possibly on the cusp, and the smartest ways to seize those moments. And it's going to hurt the project in some ways, but how can it benefit in other ways? I got some really smart people that are helping with all of that. So, namely Robert and Catherine and Joe.
All right, I'm excited for this.
Fun times. Making movies is fun. Talking about them is fun, but making them is even more fun.
Well, let's talk about them in the meantime.
Let's do that.
Top 5 princesses today. Avery will be choking down his venom and reading Florence's list. Will you read it as Florence?
Sure.
All right.
You can't be that lovely.
That's true.
Impossible.
All right.
All right.
Am I hearing that, or is that just me?
Yeah, maybe it's all the power bricks over there.
I hear nothing.
Maybe it's
Wonderful.
I fixed it. Sorry if anyone heard that little hiss. I think I fixed it. Okay.
I think it would just be me or I listening, but I'm listening now, so
yeah.
I don't think we have anything to worry about.
I was just admonished for on the after disaster every time I hear a
Karana
buzz.
won't be hearing it.
Somebody said, "Hey, I barely hear the buzz whenever you talk about it. It makes it much worse. It brings to my attention. So stop pointing that out." So I'm like, "Okay, I apologize."
I hear it every time.
Speaking of shortcomings, I would like to point this out. In a couple weeks, Film Alt's doing something that it never does. I don't think we've ever done this, but we're going to be 1 day late for 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, boy.
Actually, technically, we're not even going to be late because usually Avery releases the program Wednesday morning. Flick Fashion episode. In a couple weeks, it's going to be up that night because of scheduling. It's still going to be a brand new show. It's still going to be new content, but it's going to be 12 hours later than normal. And for the Patreon listeners, you're going to notice it because usually you get both shows Tuesday night. You're going to get them Wednesday night. So just wanted to... we're aware that we're going to be a little bit late, but
everything you and I... Oh, we'll talk about off here.
A lot of stuff's happening.
Talk about off here.
Yeah.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Like, give a shit. Sounds good. What else? Hey, you mentioned getting clever for your list.
Yeah, I got a couple that are going to be considered clever. I'm gonna be honest with you. Bye.
Are they men?
Men's. Thought about that. I was looking at Stargate. I'm like, could this work? I actually did.
How many genders do they have?
In my research over this last week or so, it's occurred to me, and it's not surprising that movies about princesses are definitely a blind spot for me. I'm not really drawn to them.
Not in your wheelhouse.
No. However, the ones that I have on my list, even though there may be a couple considered clever, are all worthy for the list.
I dug a little deeper than you might think. I made a rule, and this might be arbitrary, but I stuck to it. There is not a single official Disney princess on the list. Not a single one.
Oh, no.
What?
I think I might have adhered to the same. Nope, I got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the sort of cult of Disney princess? It's like an official thing. Like you have to be recognized by Disney as like an official princess. There's like 13, I think, official ones.
So like the ones who perform in the parks, or
they are those, but I'm saying like from the movies,
certifying the character.
Yeah,
itself.
the character. Not a person as sort of the character. Like for example, I think it took I'm forgetting which one now. This is terrible. I should have written this down. It took a while, but they finally acknowledged one as a princess, whereas they hadn't before. Like Vanellope von Schweetz from Wreck-It Ralph was finally acknowledged as a princess. There's only one princess in Disney lore who is based on a real person. Would you like to guess who that is?
Cinderella.
Nope.
Snow White.
Nope.
Jasmine.
Nope.
Little Mermaid, a princess?
Nope.
Sleeping
yes,
Beauty.
she is, and no, it's not her. No, it's not. I will give you a hint. It might be from the worst of all the movies.
Brother Bear.
No, there's no princess in it.
The worst. I don't know.
Pocahontas.
Oh, why is it the worst?
It's not good. It's also whitewashed quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
It's very, very whitewashed.
Gaston is great though. Okay,
And you don't like
that
it?
one.
Gaston's
No,
great.
he's in
Yeah,
Beauty,
he's
and
in,
Beauty and the
Beauty
Beast.
and the
Yeah.
Beast.
It couldn't be more different. Why don't you like it?
It's not good.
Pocahontas.
It's middling. at
Sounds like they
best.
whitewashed it for you, though.
Oh, I see. That shouldn't create.
That is
no,
true.
think how much I wouldn't like it if it wasn't whitewashed.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah, so there you go.
All right. All right. Go ahead. You want to start her off, or should I
Sure.
start her off? Because my first one might be controversial.
Controversial.
Yeah.
All right, number 5 for me, a bit of a deep pull considering I only just saw this movie for the first time, I think over COVID maybe. This was a one I caught up on from 1980, talking Princess Aura from Flash Gordon. Princess Aura, played by Ornella Muti. She's an Italian actress. Of course, Flash Gordon, directed by Mike Hodges. Princess Aura is the daughter of Ming the Merciless.
Uh-huh.
Ming the Merciless, the tyrannical ruler of the planet Mongo. She first appeared in the 4th issue of the 1934 comic strip, Flash Gordon. She in the movie, a 1980 film, which I think you assigned to me. I think that's where it came from.
Might have. Yeah, I might have. I grew up with that one as well. Not quite as much as Beastmaster, but I watched a lot of Flash Gordon. Way
Well, you
too
might
much.
remember the Princess Aura.
Way more than I
She
should've.
revives a dead Flash Gordon after he's been gassed, but in the gas chambers by Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
She convinces one of her many lovers. She's horny in this.
She
movie.
gets around.
Yeah, she has many lovers. One of which is the is apparently the only doctor in the planet of Mongo. He brings
got a lot of work.
He brings Flash Gordon back to life in exchange for a kiss and a promise they'll meet later. And she repays him with a kiss and the promise. And her recent infatuation, Flash Gordon, is brought back to life. She's eventually tortured for this. She's whipped and tortured. Fun fact. Apparently, she's never cried before because at one point her father asked to explain to her why water is coming out of another character's eyes.
That's like Jerry Seinfeld. In Seinfeld, he's like, "What is this liquidy discharge? What's happening here?"
Yeah, she asked that genuinely, and he explains it's a sign of weakness.
Does this hold up?
No.
I mean, it didn't at the time. It's so campy.
Yeah, I feel like it's intentionally
It's so of its era. Yeah. Like they knew they couldn't make a serious version, so they almost airplaned it.
It's
But
goofy.
the song stands up. The
Flash.
song.
Isn't that Queen?
It might be. I watched that a lot as a child. I thought that all women were like the princess.
Princess Aura?
Yeah.
Horny.
Not a good way to teach children about sex.
No, not a positive role model. No. Not a positive body image model.
Number 5 for me is not officially a princess, but I hope you'll give it to me because the title of the movie is A Little Princess by Alfonso Cuarón. Now, just last episode, we were talking Beanpole, signed to us by Nick Eats Cake, and how much green there was in that movie. The only movie I can think of, and I was thinking of while watching Beanpole, is A Little Princess. Alfonso Cuarón's A Little Princess. Cuarón. I saw this in the theater in 1995. I don't know what caused me. Maybe I read something positive about it because it's not the type of movie. The poster alone makes me a little ill. But wow, what a movie. It's an updated version of Cinderella, essentially, and it's kind of told with a little bit more realism. And there's all sorts of green throughout this. This movie is just beautiful.
What's
It's
the
gorgeous.
controversy? It's called The Little Princess.
She's not officially a princess. I mean, she comes from means, and her dad has to, there's some things that happen, and next thing you know, she's like, the servant in the place that she used to live. It's a beautiful story. It's beautifully shot, like I said. It's been too long since I've seen it. I saw it twice in the theater. But it's on my list, number 5, even though she's not officially a princess.
Who is
it's
this actress?
called a little
Did
princess.
she go on to do anything?
Lizelle Matthews.
Oh, Lizelle Matthews.
And she plays Sarah Crew. And if anything, I would just like to encourage people to, if you have not seen Alfonso Cuarón, who's gone on to become one of the greats at this time, he was, kind of still new to the scene. I don't even know which movie this was of his, but A Little Princess is still her first title that shows up on IMDb for No One Asked, and she killed it. She was great. The whole movie's great. Alfonso Cuarón in 1995, he had made
At that point, not much.
not
I'd
a
imagine.
whole lot. I hate what they've done with IMDb. You've changed so much, IMDb. I should have done this beforehand, but I'm doing it in real time, which I think everyone appreciates it.
And enjoys.
I would imagine. A Little Princess looks like his second feature.
All right.
Solo con tu pareja was his first. Solo con tu pareja was his first movie.
Alone with your something?
Eric Cass should pull this for the TikTok clip.
Solo con tu pareja But yeah, his next movie in 1995 was the old A Little Princess. And then he followed that up with Great Expectations, and that's kind of what put him on the map. But luckily, I got to see the beautiful A Little Princess in theaters in all its green glory.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear Florence's number 5, as read by Avery.
So Florence said this topic came to me because I always imagined myself a bit of a princess.
Oh,
I can see that.
Although
I like to hear about young Florence.
although I ventured into queen age. I also have 3 daughters who are my beautiful princesses.
Oh, sweet.
I love dresses, tiaras, and the pomp of royalty.
My number 1 is Tessa Bishop.
Pandering. It also was a natural progression after the queen and king categories done in the past.
Even tonight?
That's right.
I'm sorry, please repeat. I just stepped over Florence's...
It's also a natural progression after the queen and king categories, topics that have been done in the past.
True.
It's a bit Disney-centric, but no one does a princess like Disney. And Florence's number 5 is Giselle, voiced by and played by Amy Adams in 2007's Enchanted and 2022's Disenchanted.
Oh.
The Disney film combined animation with live action sequences.
Yes, Tessa watched this, and I found some of it to be amusing.
Yeah?
Yes.
In and out, walking back and forth.
Nothing special.
Giselle travels from traditional Disney animation to live in a world in the world of New York City. Fish out of water story, and Giselle is simply adorable. Extra points for having New York rats and pigeons help her clean Patrick Dempsey's apartments.
That's true. That happens.
Little Wizard of Oz story there.
Cinderella.
Any fish out of water story
Oh,
can
sure.
be contributed to. Hey, Patrick Dempsey came up on my list for actors who we think may be dicks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was glad to have one of our listeners, Mitch Burns, vilify me and verify my one of my picks in email form.
I got an email from Giovanni trying to let, and I think rightfully so, Reese Witherspoon off that hook, which I didn't even know she was on because I barely remember that. I love her so much. When I heard the controversy, about Reese Witherspoon, like, don't you know who I am? Yeah, she's not with that guy anymore apparently, and the amount of good work that woman does, not only on screen but off screen, she's a saint. And I just one more strike against you, Brian, for for that misstep and having her on your list of.
I take it back. She's out. Patrick Dempsey's in.
Of course, we're talking about top 5 actors who we think may be dicks, which was on the Patreon bonus episode this month.
And the follow-up will be, as we discussed, the dead dumb guys.
That was actually on the list for some reason. Or is it dead dog actors?
Dogs.
Okay.
Dead dog actors.
We're not doing top 5 dead dog actors. Dogs that are dead that were actors.
I like dead dumb guys.
Dead dumb guys is really. Weren't we just doing something with dumb guys? And wasn't Berners Orgnine on my list?
No, you were saying that would be the top of your list. He inspired the
we can't do that. Oh yeah, that was actually the conversation we had on.
Yes, and I was
inspired the topic.
I was talking about an actor who we enjoyed, however, we all suspected was Jim.
Who you still have to tell us after
Giovanni
the show.
was adamant that I spilled the beans. I said, I don't want to put it in writing.
Yeah.
Well, it's not writing unless someone transcribes the show, which I guess they do.
You have to tell us after the pod.
Number 4 for you, Bri.
4 for me.
What? Golfing over there.
Here's a movie. Surprisingly, I looked at my notes. Never once do I have a record of this coming up on a top 5. I don't know that we ever discussed this movie, considering that it was a huge movie with huge movie stars, with a big name director, and made a huge box office splash. And we never talk about Troy from 2004. Troy, talking about Helen of Troy, played by Diane Kruger and Wolfgang Petersen's Troy. She plays the legendary face that launched 1,000 ships, Helen of Troy. In this film, her actions set off the events of the movie. In this version of events, Helen is shown as the unhappy, let's just say, wife of. I'm trying to get this right. Menelaus? I think it's Menelaus.
Menelaus.
Is it Menelaus?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Played by Brendan Gleeson, she falls in love with Prince Paris of Troy, played by Orlando Bloom, and she willingly escapes to Troy with him to be his new wife, and now a princess of Troy.
And she could be considered like the inciting incident, right? Like without her, completely. Troy, the movie doesn't exist.
Completely.
I remember
because
That'd be a
Brendan
better
Gleeson.
world.
Brendan Gleeson, who was so incensed that his young, beautiful wife has absconded with this interloper, Paris of Troy, that he goes to Agamemnon, who's Brian Cox, the aforementioned Brian Cox. We talked to a little Succession, and yes, he decides, this would be a good opportunity to invade Troy, control all the shipping in the Mediterranean Sea.
Saw his opportunity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, good pick. I didn't put it on my list because I barely remember this movie. I remember being excited for this movie. I remember seeing this movie and thinking, why am I still sitting through this movie? I should have walked.
It's very long.
Brad
It is very
Pitt's
long.
good.
He is good.
But he's also
He's
kind of
always-
he was on the poster, but he's a minor character.
Yeah, he's mainly just banging in the tent.
Yeah, that's right, and killing people.
Somebody likes this movie.
I've seen
Pretty
it.
good. Formative.
Brad Pitt's number 4 for me. Here we go with this is my last controversial pick. I believe. I guess there could be some more. Yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
But this is my most controversial pick. And it's I had to dig deep, right, when we're talking about princesses here. And I watched all the scenes, and Atticus watched them with me, if you must know. And he was enthralled with Mothra. Mothra from Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Go on.
She was at one time a queen in some episodes. Apparently, in King of Monsters, I read somewhere that she was considered a princess at points from her.
Mothra, the giant flying moth.
The giant flying moth, who was considered an ally to Godzilla. She is a famed butterfly-esque kaiju. And she kicks ass. She rules.
Love Mothra.
And Mothra should be on a list. And if she's not going to be on this list, I don't know if she would crack top 5 monsters from creature features. But if there's a sect out there that considers her a princess, I count me as part of that sect. And she's now number 4 on my list. So
Do you have any of her lineage? Is she a princess of the monsters?
I believe they all go by Mothra. There's just a different, because moths have a lot of eggs. That's what really pisses
Like the
her
Dalai
off.
Lama.
If you get close to her eggs, then she becomes motherly. Unless you are a mother yourself and you let your daughter in harm's way, as was the case in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. But yeah, Mothra, the best part, dare I say, of Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Fair enough.
All of these are on streaming on HBO Max.
All the Godzillas?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are there any that are good?
Yes, most of them are good.
Zinzilla, of course you like them.
I love them.
What about the Zinzilla? That's the one that I still need to see, I think.
It's Shin.
Shinzilla, yeah.
Shin Godzilla was very fun.
That's still on my top 10 movies that I really, really want to watch, but I just have not watched yet because I haven't had the opportunity. But it's very good, yeah?
It is very fun. It feels, it's probably going to be a little different than you would expect. It definitely feels a little more political and more, probably like the first one where it's a lot of commentary on like what Godzilla is and society and how the government runs. And
I could go either way.
all that.
Yeah.
I thought it was very enjoyable.
Is it pro-fascism?
Oh, sure. And Nazis and all that.
Then it could go.
No.
I'm down.
But yeah, I would say honestly, there's some good. The originals are fun. I think Atticus might enjoy them quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
Especially if you look up some of the better ones that are more action packed. Some of them can be a little slower, and you're like, I don't give a shit about the people.
Some of the newer ones are just like they're such a letdown. They're always a letdown.
But the original ones are very fun and scratch that itch of men in costumes doing things that
God, I used to watch all those movies, and I haven't seen them in so long.
Great. Very enjoyable.
When I was watching Mothra, the super cut of Mothra's scenes in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, I could see Atticus in a reflection, like on the bookcase that was in front of me, and he was in the kitchen and he was like sneaking peeks. I'm like, "What are you doing, buddy?" And he got all scared and he walked away because like he's fascinated with what I watch because he's done that before. He sneaks peeks, but then he realizes he's seeing things he should not. They're outside his pay grade, but he's still like he's fascinated. So I try and if it's really gnarly shit, I'll make sure that he's not in the room. But I'm like, it's okay, bud. You can come. And he came and he was like all kind of tentative, and he sat down and he was watching Mothra and he had a bunch of questions and I had very few answers.
What
Very few answers.
doesn't Mothra make like a really distinct sound?
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of clicking. She
That's
sounded like
right.
Beanpole a little
I
bit.
gotta get that.
Oh, that's right. When she's having her episodes.
What's crazy about Mothra is that opening scene of Godzilla King of Monsters, she is so massive. But then when she's like fighting Gamora or whatever that the 3-headed beast is called, she's small. She's tiny
Let's hear
compared
this.
to.
That's Mothra.
That's Mothra.
There you go.
But she does a lot of clicking as well, especially when she's in her chrysalis phase.
Yes.
Before she goes to Niagara Falls and goes into the cocoon and comes out as like a phoenix almost. Yeah.
I think he'd like Destroy All Monsters. That one's from the 60s, but it's got like every single Godzilla monster ever made, and they all just fight.
But is it Godzilla in a suit
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
I watched those as a kid, but I can't imagine sitting down watch along.
You don't think a 7-year-old's gonna
Watch
like
along?
this?
Oh, Atticus might. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right. Yeah.
And they would be very fun for a watch along, especially that one.
All right, maybe I'll watch with Atticus, and then if it's worthy of a watch along, hey.
Pretty
I
good.
still want to watch Beastmaster 2 as a watch along.
Oh.
I can't imagine how great. I had no idea Beastmaster traveled into the future or into the present. It's so great. Look at the poster right now for Beastmaster 2 and tell me
Wait,
you
did
don't
they
want
make it to present day?
present day. There's a Ferrari
Christ.
like jumping in
my
the background. A red Ferrari.
Wait.
Beastmaster 2. Look at it. How much fun would that be to sit and watch?
Wait, what the hell is this?
It's Beastmaster 2. There's a third one too, which I don't think we should even think about until we figure out what we're doing with Beastmaster 2.
Why was this made? What the It's like the producers went, remember Back to the Future for no reason?
I think, what year is it?
It's 91, so it's definitely still, they're just going through stale ideas.
We complain
Avery-
now because
Avery
of
is
Marvel, but look at this.
Avery is correct. A lot of these are streaming on HBO.
I think pretty
Did you
much
think he was
all of
making
them.
shit up?
Strangely, Godzilla in 1985 not streaming anywhere.
Shinzilla?
Shinzilla
there's-
is actually not on HBO, but is available to
And I think the ones, if I remember correctly, the ones that are not are the ones that are for racially insensitive reasons.
Okay, that's
some of the
interesting.
King Kongs, some of the less than tasteful portrayals of indigenous peoples.
And from that, let's go to Florence's number 4.
Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla.
Great one.
I
Florence, her number 4, very different than Mothra, Princess Buttercup,
Oh,
played by Robin Wright in The Princess Bride.
I've heard of this movie.
People like it.
She found true love and was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen on screen.
Fucking young Robin Wright.
I saw this
Right?
movie when I
She
was
got penned.
crass.
Oh,
I
she
saw
did.
this movie when I was little and immediately fell in love with it. I wanted Peter Falk to come and tell me the story of Buttercup and Wesley when I was homesick from school.
No, you and Fred Savage. He plays the little kid.
He does.
No.
What else was he in that
Fred Savage?
my wife just recently, something to do with wizards? Or,
The Wizard?
yeah.
Yeah. The Wizard was a very crass Nintendo movie. It was like it was just Nintendo advertisement all over it.
Apparently she loved it growing up.
Fred Savage like shepherds a young autistic boy who's like a genius at bad video games.
Sounds awesome.
It's
Should I watch this for research?
That's actually a good watch along. It's a very bad movie.
Jillian just it
What's
popped
the
up
Rotten Tomatoes score?
a couple months ago, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love The Wizard. I used to watch it all the time."
It's very bad.
Oh, Jills. All right,
Should have seen The
Wait.
Sorcerer.
number 3 for you, Brian. After
Hold
we
on,
figure
let's-
out the
hold
Rotten, you should probably stay off the Rotten Tomatoes.
Hold on. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, higher than I would have thought. 27%.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. Click
All
off. Click off that. All right, number 3 for me.
Now I just want to hear the Godzilla sound.
All right, you look that up.
Look at there.
Number 3 for me.
I'm listening. We're all ears.
I'm buying Night for Avery.
The original. Come on.
That's the original.
That's the original.
But that's not the
1954.
iconic one, though, is it?
No, it's
a little more
It's a
high-pitched.
little later. I'll find it.
Okay. Number 3 for me, from 1989, Princesses Joanna and Elizabeth, played by Diane Franklin and Kimberly LaBelle, from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, good
1989.
call, Brian.
Directed by
This
Stephen
did not
Har-
occur to me.
Oh, really?
Great call.
The
dude.
Excellent Princesses.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. They rescued them from 15th century England. They were they were betrothed, remember, to royal,
Yes, of
royal ugly
course.
dudes.
Royal ugly dudes.
Royal ugly dudes.
Oh, dude.
They're rescued and they're transported to modern-day San Dimas, where they marry Bill and Ted, and they join their band Wild Stallions. What fun fact, both portrayed by American actresses.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Shiv is Australian. Tom is British.
Rufus took us to someplace called the Mall.
Wow, what a good call, Brian.
Oh.
This bugs me because hey, my list is not lacking for lack of research. I mean, I looked high and low and racked my own brain and did a lot of research. They did not show up on any of the daunting best princesses in movies.
Surprising.
I looked at TVs. I looked at shows. I don't know why they just kept popping up. TV tropes. I was all up in that biz. All the different categories. I was everywhere.
I did a little research on this one because it was the one that I remembered the least.
How'd you find this one? It just popped in your head?
No, actually, IMDb keyword search.
I didn't do the keyword search.
Yeah, I did princess, and Bill and Ted popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, princesses. But they both of these actresses read for multiple parts, including the I think Candy was the younger wife's name. Remember the stepmom to Bill or Ted?
Mm-hmm.
They kept calling her by her first name.
Yeah, she was she was like younger than they were.
Yeah, exactly. And they ended up going to a different actress. But both of these women could put on convincing enough accents that they decided to cast them as the excellent princesses.
That happens a lot where you have a similar aged person you're looking for, and of course you're going to be thinking of them. Well, maybe not for this role, but that role. To save time with groupers, in fact, I think that one of the roles I didn't even I just put them like a composite together and sides that would have worked for either one, just because I knew what we were looking for. Okay, they were similar. Because you got to pay for all that stuff, everything. It all adds up, right? You got to pay for the time for the auditions. Okay,
number 3.
Actually, that's not true. I think that the one we used, the poor actors had to pay to come in. But
brutal.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was.
How do you let them down when you don't cast them?
Still, I had to look at so many because it was an ensemble cast, Brian. I had to we spent like 3 days in there, maybe 4. All right, number 3 for me, or is it
3 for you?
3 for me. Merida. Hope I'm saying that right. It's my favorite Disney character.
Oh yeah, really?
Disney princess, I should say.
I was saying their favorite character is really going a long way.
2012's Brave, Brian.
Oh.
And she was the anti-princess, and it was the first time that I think Disney had kind of played with the trope that is the Disney princess, and had her be like.
Well, yes, you're right, but also fun trivia: the only Pixar Disney princess.
Oh, the only one?
The only one.
Really?
So far, who knows? That might change.
I really hope it does, because that's what I go to movies for, is princesses. But no, Kelly MacDonald, as we know, played the voice, right? And it's just a beautiful movie. And also, I remember there was a bunch of, I don't know, controversy, but a lot of suggestions that she must be a lesbian because she doesn't like these princes that are being thrust her way. All she wants to do is ride horses and be on her own. I'm like, she might be a lesbian, but maybe she just doesn't want arranged marriage. Maybe she wants to think for herself. Yeah, exactly. She would like to choose on her own. So I really liked it. It felt like female empowerment.
It is. Tessa loves Brave.
Brave is great.
Brave is really nice. And I've seen it more times post Tessa than I've seen it pre Tessa. That makes sense.
You've seen it more times since she's been born.
Since she's been around. Yeah.
Well, you probably saw it once before.
Yep.
And now 3 or 4
probably,
times.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what I would have guessed. Yep. I don't know why you had to ask if I would believe that, because that's. Of course, I would.
That's how it's
strange. If I saw it 5 or 6 times before Tessa was
and never
born,
once afterwards.
And I've never wanted to watch it with her because it would feel weird.
That'd be weird.
It'd be weird if you thought it would feel weird to watch because you liked it so much before. But no, Brave, fantastic movie for my money. If I had to watch a Disney princess movie right now, I'm going to say Brave every time. But there's a bunch that I have not seen, which I realized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Like what?
Like Princess and the Frog. I still have not seen.
Oh, it's a good movie.
It came out during that time where I turned my back on all Disney movies. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a circa 2000.
Yeah, I'm in the height of my film snobbery. I'm not going to see a Disney movie.
Princess and the Frog is perfectly good.
There's a bunch that in my research I'm like, I have not seen this. I've not seen that.
You've seen Mulan?
Oh yeah, I think.
I just thought you were prejudiced against non-white Disney princesses.
No, Brian. Stop projecting.
Well, funny
because of Princess and the Frog?
That's right.
That's the only reason to see that movie.
The fun fact, I'm steeped in the Disney princess trivia because Tessa demands that I look up trivia questions and ask her. Mm-hmm. So now I know all the answers, and I think that's the only black princess thus far.
God, she really is your daughter.
Is
Test me on trivia.
Tiana, not Tiana.
Okay.
Princess Tiana.
It's the only black princess so far.
Thus far.
Animated or?
Animated.
But they have other black princesses.
No, there are other princesses of color.
The new Little Mermaid.
That's right. She's Caribbean, so I don't know if that would be black technically. But whatever. I'm talking about like Jasmine is Middle Eastern. Anyway, on and on and on.
And on.
And on.
It's what you're doing.
Speaking of which, I got a princess of color coming up next.
Okay.
But I want to hear Florence first. I want to hear Godzilla. That's the one.
It was a longer one, but yeah, good stuff.
So good. Still get chills.
That should just be my ringtone.
That would be pretty good.
Imagine when you're sleeping, napping in a movie.
That's what Do Not Disturb is for.
It'd be a terrifying alarm.
It really would
be.
To. What? Do we know what composited that sound? Has anyone ever looked that up?
I don't know, but I can do that after.
No,
I'll do it at the break. Number 3 for Florence, Belle, voiced by Paige O'Hara from 1991's Beauty and the Beast.
She is a princess, isn't she?
She becomes one.
God, I love that movie.
Here's more trivia. The prince in the film who becomes the Beast is never named. Never once named in the film.
He's the Beast, right?
He's the Beast, but he's a prince before, at the beginning and the end. Spoiler alert. He's been given a name non-canon.
Isn't it Bob?
No,
Bob.
it's
Prince Bob.
Adam. It's Prince Adam.
Oh.
But that is not ever referenced in the film.
Where are you getting this from?
Because he is referenced as that in books.
I understand that.
Oh.
But like, how do you know that it is never named?
Trivia.
What,
Tessa demands that I look up trivia and read it to her.
does that delight you to know?
Yeah, it really does actually. Yeah. Look at
Now,
me right now.
I know, I see it. Do you give her this little tip? Like, now when you're telling your schoolmates these things that they don't know and sniffing afterwards, make sure that they remember that your last name is Bishop. I want full credit here.
Oh, it's implied.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't have to say it explicitly. She knows.
You just got bishoped. And she just walks away.
That's a bish.
Losing's
a bish.
You love your trivia so much. God, you love it. When it happens and there's an answer that you have that the table is.
I light up like no
you
other.
You do, dude. Like that's.
When Anderson will throw out a question like, "Why is that?" I'll look around, realize no one knows. Like, oh, well,
it's my moment. Did any of your loved ones think, like, when you're like in real dire straits in the hospital and really sick, to kind of try and use that to lift you up? Because I mean, I've seen you physically lift up.
No, actually, no one ever has.
Like when you're really, really sick, on death's door.
I levitate.
Yeah, you do. Like the doctor could just come in and say, like, I'm not really sure. Are there more than one black Disney princess? I think there might be
soul
more.
floats back into his body.
No, better yet.
The whole,
wait,
no, it's really quiet in the room, and the bed just starts slowly like erect. Like the hospital bed just tilted. You just hear.
Wait, all you hear is beep, beep, the faintest heartbeat. Doctor comes in and goes, "Has there ever been a black Disney princess?" Beep, 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 beep.
And the bed has
the bed.
And the smug smile starts to crawl across his face. Oh, good stuff.
So good.
All right. Well, I hope you never get sick again, but I'm going to bring that to Christy's attention if you do.
So I have the answer, and it is not what I would have expected. So the Japanese composer Akira Ifukube,
he's great,
had the idea to use a musical instrument to create the shriek.
Oh.
It was actually a double bass using a leather glove coated in pine tar resin to create the friction.
Oh, I can hear that now. We got to hear it again.
And they'd rub it against the.
Would not have
so you can hear it. Well, let's go back.
Not the bad.
There's music behind it.
So you can hear with the that at the end that resonance.
Huh. Yeah,
resonance.
I like
interesting.
That. I wonder if the mic's inside the bass drum. Or out, yeah, that's good stuff. I would have never guessed that.
But I love that.
It totally makes sense.
You can hear it at the end.
All right, did we just completely step all over Florence's number 3?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. No, we got there. It was Belle.
Oh, yeah, Belle. But then we went on a diatribe.
We did. Yes, my favorite thing about Belle is she loves to read.
She loves books.
I would.
She's read every book in town, such to the point that now she's like, we're reading them over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Why doesn't she start writing?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
It was too progressive for 1991. I, too, would date the Beast if he gifted me a library. Her provincial French town is also a perfect place for a princess, and I picture myself walking with a basket full of bread and books and singing, I'm guessing, beautifully.
That's nice.
Florence and anyone who has similar aspirations, let me sell you real quick on the city of Gruyere, which is where the cheese comes from, and it's in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And Jillian and I went there. I've talked about it on the program before. It's a sleepy little medieval town in Switzerland, and it's one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable place I've ever been. It's this tiny little town that's been there since like the 1200s. They still have the castle that was erected in the 1200s at the top of the hill. Everything's frozen in time. You're not allowed to drive cars in there or anything. They have a bunch of cows in the pasture out there because that's where the cheese actually comes from. And in the middle of it is where H.R. Giger's bar is, as well as his museum. And then he's buried at the bottom by like, the parking lot where they make you park outside the town. And we stayed there for a night.
He's buried by the parking lot.
And it's just like nothing you've ever seen. And Jillian immediately says, like, this is like, I feel like Belle. Like, this feels just like Beauty and the Beast. And we actually we douched out and we played the the song as we're walking down, because we're the only ones left in the town because we got there in there late the first night, and you feel like you're in the fucking cartoon when you're walking down. So I highly, if you're going to travel abroad and you're going to find yourself in Switzerland, try and see if you can work Gruyere. And I think I'm saying that right. I've heard different people say Gruyere different ways. Gruyere. That might be the American way of saying
English,
it.
Yeah,
I've heard someone say Gruyere or something like that. But also the best part, I was talking to having some drinks at Giger's Bar, which is just otherworldly because it's futuristic and you're in this medieval town. So it just does not belong there, but it's perfect. And I was talking to this local there who's fantastic, like you do when you go on, out of town. We were traveling abroad. A lot of time locals love to talk to you and tell you some bits of history. The building that was right outside the bar was the plague building back in the day, and it's where they put all the bodies. And you know what it is now? It's the town's old folks' home.
Oh, no.
So they're like putting soon to be dead bodies.
So it doesn't change much.
Yeah, it's crazy that building, the walls are still there from the Black Plague, and now it's like assisted living because there's people that live in this little town.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Still live there. I guess you have to like go on a waiting list and get approved to live in this town. It's crazy. Gruyere.
Now, you were never more at your essence as a film lover on a recent after disaster when they were talking about a Geiger counter. Like I think Karana was talking about one. You called it a Geiger counter. I'm like, yeah, the man loves movies.
I can't help it. It's in my head. All right. I didn't even know. Neither one of us knew if it was Geiger or Giger. I can't even say it the other way. Geiger or Giger until we watched that horrible documentary on the man called Dark Star, which just is not a good documentary. It's like following him around his house as he shuffles towards the end of days. But that was the first time I ever heard his name spoken out loud by someone who would know, I guess, and which was him, H.R. Giger.
Which is the man who is himself.
The man himself.
All right, let's take a little break, go over some Amazon purchases, and come back with more list after this. All right, I want to talk about whoever this maniac is who got 21 Amazon reloads on his or her Amazon account, I guess, Amazon card.
Amazon reloads.
I'm not sure what the math works out to be. It's an odd number. It's an odd amount. But hey, thank you for thinking of us. Thank you for using our link. Thank you for being a loyal supporter of the show. We appreciate you, just like we appreciate all the other things that were purchased on the Amazon link button banner that sits on AndersonandBryan.com, such as somebody, the big purchase of the week, got 4 Western Digital Black 4 terabyte internal gaming SSDs. Thank you for choosing us to do your shopping. Appreciate you. Wazinator Classic Acoustic Stomp Box. That's basically a acoustic drum for banging and making acoustic sounds. OWC Express SSD enclosure. Perhaps the aforementioned SSD purchaser. Gallons Retro Compact Refrigerator. Hofish. That's the real thing. Hofish. 5-piece foam playset. 10 up, 20,000 shipping address labels. Appreciate you going back to the well over and over again. Helps us a little bit every time. Ultra Lock Smart Lock U-Bolt Pro. I mentioned the Amazon reloads. GP Round Wedge Headboard Pillows. Brooks Ghost 14 sneakers were purchased. Someone got themselves a Dell Optiplex microcomputer. Ultra Wall folding brackets, that's folding shelving units, were picked up. Freebird, I have this and I enjoy it. I hope you like it as much as I do. Freebird Flex Series electric head shaver. You use the Freebird there, Avery?
I don't.
It's so specific. I don't know what you use for your...
But I'm intrigued.
Your Sure Shave Dome. It's very convenient. It's very easy and convenient, I will say. AccuBat Fungo Racket. Valvoline High Mileage Motor Oil. Flow Tool Rhino Ramp was purchased. HP ink cartridges were picked up. Velpo arm sling with abduction pillow. Get well soon, whoever bought the sling for their arm. Maximum Velocity Dirty Car Kit. Under Armour Drive Shorts. Listen. Listen. Steam Deck Docking Station. Amazon gift card. Someone clicked through and got themselves a We Appreciate You gift card, and a Slices of Cake gift card was also purchased. Thank you to whoever got a car, a Bluetooth transmitter, specifically for a Honda. And finally, someone got themselves an Ali Wasai sliding door handle set. That was pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Here are the movies that were
Getting the hang of this radio thing.
click through. Since the last time I talked at you, somebody clicked through and got Lost Boys, The Lost Boys, as well as Adventureland. Michael Clayton was clicked through, as well as Stakeout. Creep was clicked through, as well as Skirts Ahoy. What?
Hey,
Skirts Ahoy.
is it an Elvis movie? What is that?
Hey,
What is that, Skirts Ahoy?
I'd like to find out, you know what I'm saying?
Keanu was clicked through, as well as A Cure for Wellness. $1 Million Mermaid. Oh my God, I've seen 3 of these movies. that I've said so
Keanu
far.
is a movie I remember laughing at, and yet not any recollection specifically.
The
of
one
what
scene I
laughed
remember laughing at was the flips off of the wall, which kind of came out of left field. You didn't see it coming at all. $1 Million Mermaid. I already said that. Beanpole was clicked through. Oh no! I hope that you enjoyed it. I appreciated Beanpole. Whoever clicked through and got the old Beanpole. Jurassic Park was clicked through as well, because you want to go somewhere you've never gone before. I would
That's right.
imagine.
Come to this place.
Speaking of which, we got to talk about that Regal intro. Regal Cinemas is
I've not seen.
so much worse. You have not?
No.
Wait, what is it?
You guys didn't see the Giovanni email?
Oh, yeah, it was sent to us.
No,
I didn't
I
watch
didn't.
It.
It is. It makes the Nicole Kidman thing, and I'm not
I gotta
using
see that.
hyperbole. It makes it seem so lovely compared to what the poor Regal Cinema people have to go through. It's so fucking bad, guys. It's so. Alita, Battle Angel was clicked through, as well as Spider-Man: No Way Home, Husera, the Bone Woman, How
Weren't
to
we
Blow Up
supposed
a
to get
Pipe.
an
Pipe.
Alita?
I'm talking.
Weren't we supposed to get an Alita
oh,
sequel?
now I can't hit the. I have no.
I fucked it up.
No
for you.
hope. No hope at all.
I cock blocked you.
Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves was clicked through as well. Thelma and Louise, Speed Racer, the complete series. They made a bunch of those. What? And How to Blow Up a Pipeline, as well as Husera, the Bone Woman. In case I didn't say that. And
That was not clear.
he tried. He tried to help me, but I still.
You were closer than you would have been.
I can't say screwed the pooch anymore because a bit that Che has. Michael Che talked about how it's the most white thing that any white person has ever uttered. Is I really screwed the pooch on that one.
It is?
It's. I mean, when you he goes on,
We'll
he
have to watch the
elaborates.
bit, yeah,
but
sure.
now every time I'm going to say screw the pooch, which that wasn't like part of my main lexicon, but I use it.
Sure.
Now I can't.
It's an enjoyable phrase.
What is that cheaty noise? Look at if
I
I just
hear
hold the wire like this,
I
it
hear
goes
nothing.
away.
These are your headphones.
Oh, if I unplug my machine. All right, hey, back to the program.
I worry about you unplugging your machine because everything's connected. All of our cameras.
I know. Machine's under a lot of stress.
That's right.
It's a very big pour for the machine it's under.
How many people got that?
It's under,
I'm glad you did, April.
that is distressed.
Are there more than 10 people who got that
You
reference?
know, a number of our listeners are. I've talked to no less than 3 of our listeners who are in charge of very big concrete pours, and every single time I talk to them, I talk to a lot of listeners. The fact that I've talked to 3 of them though that are concrete pours,
That's a big pour.
some of them are really closely attuned to the show as well. Like, you hear their names quite a bit, and all of them are very, very well accustomed to lock.
Is that their Wall Street and
That's right.
Major League
Slap shot for hockey players.
Slap shot. They just watch that on a loop.
You got that right.
It's a big pour.
Number 2 for me. My only.
You know what would be really uncomfortable is if you were a big pourer, like that was your job. And think about it. Like, I was talking to one fellow, I'm not going to name names here, but he's in charge of the Walmart account or part of the Walmart account. Now imagine how much
Pouring concrete?
how many
be
parking lots
yeah.
Walmart needs poured,
yeah.
right? That's a big, big job that, and
just for the foundation.
imagine sitting with your wife watching Locke. Wouldn't that be uncomfortable? Because it's such a specific job. And then he turns left instead of right.
And she knows what you do.
Yeah.
Honey, why'd you put this on?
What? You trying to tell me something? I've
I
never
gotta-
seen this before.
I
I
gotta-
swear to God.
Anderson was talking about it.
He was talking about it 3 years ago. You've
First of
you've
all,
had the
who's
Blu-ray.
this asshole Anderson? Number 2 for me. Who's
Who's this Anderson? See that loudmouth I hear sometimes coming from your earphones? All right.
My only Disney character. Not an official princess, because she is a villain, an antagonist, if you will. Talking about Namari, voiced by Gemma Chan in Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon from recently 2021, directed by Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada. Namari is the princess of Fang. You may remember, one of the territories of Kamandra. Yep. Her mother, Viriana, is Fang's chiefess. Right. And so that makes Namari the princess. She is rivals with the titular Raya, who is the princess of Heart. I mean, Heart is the territory she's a princess of. Namari, however, is a principal villain. She is the antagonist of the film. Fandom.com lists among her likes, quote, dragons, blades, and being a warrior princess. So she's kind of a badass. Also, apparently, I learned today she's a bit of she's big in the LGBTQ plus community, who collectively view her as a queer Disney princess. Oh. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, she had the shaved head with the hair all off to one side.
I remember, yeah. No, it's a good choice. She's on my also rans, and I didn't realize all the bullshit.
This character's on your also rans?
Yeah.
Of all the Disney princesses, this character's on your also
like this movie quite a bit, and I like this character quite a bit, and I didn't know that she wasn't officially
Well, because she's Disney. Like the villain of the movie, the princess.
I went through a whole list of nothing but, I guess, the villainous princesses. Like, I was hoping to find some good ones in there, and I didn't find any that stuck the list. But
Namari.
Is she not officially a Disney princess? Because she's a lesbian as well.
No, the Disney princesses are all heroic. Disney? They're all they're all heroes and heroines.
I was hearing from a good friend of mine that and this is all hearsay, but this is the way that he interprets the Max, HBO Max.
Please,
from his point of view, and he is gay. Switching over to Max, I guess that they shed a bunch of shows when it went from HBO Max to just Max. They added stuff and they got rid of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What did they get rid of?
He claims that they got rid of a lot of their LGBTQ stuff, which seems like a weird move, especially today. And hey, why? But he's like, I swear to God, like a bunch of the shows that I watch, they're just gone from the platform now. And the new guy who's in charge over there, he's not a big fan. So
interesting.
I don't know if I'm spreading misinformation, but I thought it was interesting that point of view is out there, at least for my good friend.
Okay.
Who I just spent some time with.
Well, Namari's still around Disney Plus if you choose to watch Raya and the Last Dragon.
I like that Raya and the Last Dragon.
Well, enjoyable.
And I like that character. The character's badass.
The character is a badass.
No, but as big of a badass as Nausicaa.
Safe. Well, that's number 2.
That's my number 2.
It's number 1, so let's just talk.
Is she your number 1? High five.
Too soon.
We're going to do Florence.
Soon.
Florence.
That was the worst high five I've ever.
So
That's
soon.
a low five. Nausicaa's your number 1.
Wait, what was
You're skipping
that?
Florence.
Yeah, I know, but no, Anderson's number 2.
Oh,
I'm just hopping on instead of
I thought you were skipping to 1.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which we just saw very, very recently.
Yeah, it feels too soon, but she's great.
It is.
Voiced by, in the original Japanese film, Sumi Shimamoto. In the version that we saw, Alison Lohman.
And this is Tyler Booth who assigned us this one, and we should give him credit because this is the movie that shot me over the eye. I was already a big fan of Spirited Away, which I still know is a basic love for the genre, which, if you can call it that. And this is Studio Ghibli, and this is Hayao Miyazaki, who is a genius, and I'm catching up with his works. And just this week, we got assigned My Neighbor Totoro, which we'll be watching for next week's show. I actually bought tickets for Atticus and I to go see this Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind on the big screen. I'll leave it at that because Brian's going to bring it back around for his number 1. Evidently, sorry for stepping on that, Brian, but what a kick-ass character. What a great movie, and what a fantastic, well-rounded character.
She does kick ass, but she's very empathetic. So that's to the point that she can talk to bugs.
She's a humanitarian and a champion for all living creatures. She's just like, the fact that this movie came out in 88 and we still have a shit world. Like,
I have it as 84.
This should have changed the world. Yeah, 88 is the Totoro, so I got that confused. But this movie should have changed the world. I'm going to make sure that it changes my son's little world a little bit. He needs to see shit like this. Kids should see like movies like this.
Yep. All right.
Let's hear from Florence.
Number 2 from Florence is Princess Leia, played many times by Carrie Fisher in the Star Wars franchise. She's my first movie idol, and I wanted to be Princess Leia so bad. I was her for Halloween when I was 7, and then I wore my costume around the neighborhood until it was tattered. She's strong, smart, funny, and falls in love with a sexy rogue pilot. She also rocked a metal bikini and was never a damsel in distress.
It's true. She took charge. She went undercover to try and free Han and Chewie.
She's a badass.
Yep.
And she was a badass from the get, too. It wasn't like one of those, like, hey, we have this strong female character, but she's not as strong as she... We should probably rewrite her or make her... No, she was just strong from the get-go.
You're right. And think about how she actually, had it not been for her actions, the Star Wars might have been a very short movie because Luke and Han were pinned down by the stormtroopers. And she's like, oh, fuck you guys. Give me that gun.
Yeah, and she takes control. Yep. I can absolutely see in that context, because I talked to Florence about this, obviously. We talked about all sorts of things, but we got to her top 5 as well. And I remember it was cute and funny that she wore this costume like so many kids do. When they love a costume, they want to be a character.
This is Tessa completely.
When it tatters. But now that I hear her writing it up and explaining, like, I could see why Florence loves Princess Leia. And so many women like Florence probably see the badassedness in her and like appreciate that. Because while it was, happening back then, you don't see much of it. And like, we take it for granted that we're growing up as boys and we see all these badass fucking dudes. And like, it's hard to find them. So I would imagine that Princess Leia is not on either one of our lists, obviously. It's because it's one of those things that she was just right there.
Right.
It's the character she don't.
I'm very glad Florence had it on her list.
But I also cheated a little bit because I knew that Florence had it on her list because I talked to her, right? So, yeah, of course she has to be represented. I'm assuming she's the listener's number 1 as well. So we'll see when we get there. But okay.
All right.
Number 1 for you is
Nausicaa. It is Nausicaa from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Like I said, voiced by Sumi Shimamoto in the original and Alison Lohman in the version that I saw. She is the 11th daughter of King G, the only daughter who survived to maturity, and coupled that with the mom who also died. I started looking into the king's track record here.
Well, I mean, it's a world where forests are trying to kill you with poison.
That's
right?
fair.
It's a tough world.
Here's a fun fact: she's colorblind.
How'd you know that?
There was a series of manga books before it was.
Okay. So it's not in the movie.
No, it's not. Yeah. But it's canon. She was named after a character depicted.
It's something that I could probably even stump a nerd on.
That's right. I'm making Tessa. I'm making Tessa memorize. Like, Daddy, who's Nausicaa? I'm like, shut up.
I was thinking the way you said it's even better. It's canon.
It's canon. It makes it even more valuable. It's a higher point card. Brian, I was thinking while you're droning there that
I'm regaling with fun facts.
Here's where it is fun fact. I do enjoy that, but.
How'd she know when the eyes were changing then? That seems very important.
It does. It's very important.
Although colorblind doesn't mean you're blind to all colors.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like the red and the green. Or
yeah.
I love the idea of you bringing Tessa to Nausicaa to see it in the theater because it's playing in like a month or whatever.
It's true.
But then I immediately went to this idea of 2 6-year-olds who don't know each other and their dads know each other and them having a very distinct memory, like late in life. Like, remember... Not even talking to each other. I remember when my dad brought me to this weird movie, and his friend's kid was there, and we both had to sit through this really strange movie about bugs and stuff. What the fuck was that? I gotta talk to my dad about that. I don't want it to be that.
Of course, I'll claim not to remember. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
You probably won't remember.
It's canon. It's canon.
It's canon.
She is named after.
Wait, have you seen Nausicaa?
Yeah,
you've seen it.
Yeah, I saw it on HBO. Yeah,
we talked about it.
Streaming. Yeah, HBO Max.
Did we talk about
it's
it?
Just
for sure?
Max.
I don't know if you brought it to the program.
I thought I did. Yeah,
I don't think you did.
Did you know that Nausicaa is named after a character depicted in the Odyssey who helps Odysseus return to Ithaca?
I knew that, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, good.
You didn't stump me. I already knew all that.
God, I feel foolish.
I am so soft that I used to like go deep. I remember back when we started this program, I would print shit out from like Wikipedia and stuff. I'm talking like 15 years ago, and I would highlight stuff. I remember I'd come in with a stack of papers. You'd hear me rustle.
It would be absurd.
I loved it. I loved the facts and whatnot. I read one comment, and it was like, I don't even know what it was on. It was like, the platform that has been deplatformed since. And it was somebody like, I'm so tired of Anderson with his little factoids that from that moment on, I'm like, you know what? Way less factoids.
No more.
You got me.
No one gets a factoid.
Brian's so much better with the factoids.
You'd be great with focus groups.
I know.
This one guy's
so sad. It's so terrible. I go more with feel though, like how that character, like, 'cause I'm not.
If it confirms something in you.
When I'm thinking of Nausicaa, I'm not thinking of all the fun facts. I'm thinking of like what she means to me in my heart.
Sure.
Right. So
you have confirmation bias. It's important that you know that.
Speaking of, yeah, thank you. It is important that I know that, and that's how I live my life. All right. Speaking of in my heart, there's a movie that's deep in my heart, Brian. And this is, it's almost. I gotta be careful. You're
Talking Spaceballs?
Talking Pan's Labyrinth,
Okay.
Ophelia.
Oh.
And there is reincarnation involved.
Okay.
There is a dead princess involved.
Oh, yes.
And there is a possible reincarnated princess involved. And I'm talking about Ophelia from Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labby, as I like to call it. It's one of my all-time favorites. And she qualifies as a princess officially. And she acts like a badass, kick-ass princess going through that labyrinth, that fantasy realm that she is thrust into. And she goes through all the tests, and she does it like a noble princess, what we like to think of as a princess, as a worthy princess, right? Because in reality, most princesses are
probably not too useful.
They're hand of the keys too, right? Just like princes and kings and queens, they're born into it, right? But it's nice when they rise them up, and they do. They raise them up in a lot of these movies, and I think that Nausicaa and Ophelia are probably the two, Princess Leia, perhaps, some of the best examples in film history of princesses being shown. Like, they're given an opportunity and they make the most of it. And they're sure, it's part of its luck that they're already great people to begin with, and they're given this opportunity and they make the most of it. And also, it's storytelling. So, Ophelia from Pan's Labyrinth. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Here's a fun fact. Did you know that in French, pan means bread?
I feel like you didn't hear anything I was saying, which a lot of it was just I was just talking. I'm going to be honest. It wasn't really all that well thought out. But I could tell that you had something locked and loaded, and that's what it was.
So sad.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
So dumb.
You heard me say Pan's Labyrinth like 3 minutes ago, and you're like, when's this fucking idiot going to stop talking so I can get this fact out to the world?
It's not even a fact. It's just a word.
It's a fact.
I guess it is. I mean, it's not trivia. It's a word that's in French.
I need to learn that look. And I know it so well because I see it so often. But like, that's exactly what was happening right there. You didn't hear a goddamn thing I said.
Not at all.
If you did, you probably would have cut me off.
Yeah, if I had been paying attention. Were you talking about the movie?
I was talking about all the princesses in general and the best look. I'm not going to reiterate for only you, but
most people heard it.
I would venture to say everyone heard it, except for me.
It's almost like a weapon. I can turn around and use it for myself. Like when I really want to talk about a movie, but you're like in Mr. Interrupter mode, I should throw something out there that I know will trigger you to hold on to it and just go into that fugue state where because you get to a place where you can't forget what you're.
Yeah.
You don't want to forget it.
I'm clinging on.
Yeah. So you can't. You have to muster all of your energy to hold on to that.
At the expense of everything else going on around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that as soon as there's a moment of silence, you can get it out there.
Hey, fun fact.
You should do a show that's called Fun Facts.
I should. Don't give me any ideas.
And there's like no bridges or no dovetail, no segues. It's just
a random collection.
Kind of like what I want to do with like the 1,000 greatest movies ever produced.
Just read off
the titles.
No connective tissue.
What's number one for Florence?
Number one for Florence is the aforementioned trivia answer. Princess Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, 2009.
Representation.
We got some good reps here, and we haven't even heard from the listeners yet. Okay, cool.
Tiana is voiced by Anika Noni Rose. She combines my two favorite things, New Orleans and cooking. She's a hard worker.
She wants to open a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. She's a hard worker, saving up money to open her own restaurant.
Frog legs.
She makes amazing beignets, wears the best outfits, marries for love, and has a kick-ass Disney songs with jazz feel. Dance many times to the songs in this movie, and extra points for having her and her best friend not fight over a man.
Her best friend is a great character too, because she's a sort of a Southern belle, but very ditzy. Mm-hmm. She's great. It is a good movie.
I need to see it. I want to see it. I wish that I had. I've heard really good things about this movie. It was marred in the ridiculous controversy. Plus, it came out at a time, like I said, I didn't have time for Disney movies.
You weren't watching them in 2009?
I thought it was 2001.
No, 9.
Oh, it's 09. Yeah, I was way off. Sorry.
Still not watching Disney movies. I barely watch them now. I don't. What was the last animated Disney? I got a 6-year-old. Not barely. Does anyone have more fun than Florence? I mean, she just has so much fun with everything.
She gets into it.
Yeah, she really
enjoys
does.
Life. Good for her. We should all be envious and aspirational,
aspiring to be like more. She's kind of like she's like Gio's doppelganger.
In what way?
They're like, all of her stories just involve joy and there's a lot of detail and depth to them.
She's Bizarro Gio.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the yin
not doppelganger.
to
Yeah,
Gio's
the
yang.
to the yang.
She's
yeah.
Bizarro Gio.
Yeah.
Every time he gets hit by a car or attacked by a dog, she goes to Disneyland. Or
She gets picked up by a limo.
Chateau Rumble. We still can't laugh about that.
Every time he's being evicted, as a 10-year-old, she's dancing in her Princess Leia into a nice new home. Literally, he's dancing out as he's being evicted. She's dancing in.
Gio's watching Regal Cinema and Florence is renting a movie theater.
Yes, with Nicole Kidman sitting back just next to her, probably.
Oh my God. We have to chart their lives. They might be the bizarro version of each other.
I know. I wish I didn't say doppelganger because it was confusing to all at first, but I think it was a
Bizarro flow.
Bizarro, yeah. They talked a lot about doppelgangers too, in all of David Lynch's movies. Most of his movies have torch singers and doppelgangers, and that was just one more thing that is top of mind with the Lynch Oz movie that I just watched. And the doppelgangers in his movies are opposites. They are yings to yangs.
I see. Fun fact. It's time for the listener list.
Not fun nor fact.
Funner fact, it's compiled by Mitch Burns.
Who is the most recent contributor to Loaded for Bear. So he's a part of it now. Thank you, Mitch, for becoming a part of it. You didn't have to do that, Mitch. You do so much for us already, but it's much appreciated.
Number 5, Fiona from Shrek and Wonder Woman.
That's okay. There you go.
Number 4, Buttercup from Princess Bride. Number 3, Vespa from Spaceballs.
Great choice.
It seems like a very Bryan pick.
I wish I had it on there.
Number 2, Princess Mononoke.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, of course, is Princess Leia.
I am going to be watching, as are you, Brian, Princess Mononoke very, very soon, and I would imagine she would have made the list from all accounts.
It's very fun from what I remember.
Seen?
Very bloody. I saw it as a kid. And
fun, you say?
it was
It's not for kids. And we will be watching this soon. I cannot sit and watch it like I did My Neighbor Totoro with Atticus.
No, I think you need to be at least 10 for that.
Mononoke will be seen and appreciated and will probably be a worthy princess from all accounts. And you remember watching it as a child?
Yeah, I think I saw it when I was like 10 or 11 and very, very much enjoyed it.
All right, we don't have time tonight. And I don't want to ruin this YouTube feed because we are on YouTube, and Eric Kath does really good work for us over there, and I know that we get flagged whenever we play clips or anything. So
Godzilla's going to bonus on this one.
I do want to do a bonus episode.
Bonus?
He's got a bonus. I do want to do a bonus episode where we do break down the Regal Cinema intro maybe next week if we have time. I know we got a bunch of crazy shit coming up for the show.
Should I wait to see it or
probably? Yeah,
okay.
We should all watch like a watch along. But we're gonna have to pause and just talk about how horrible.
Oh, can I watch it ahead of time though, so I got familiar?
If you need to, but I mean, real time might be okay. I watched it 3 times now. I just can't believe how.
I'm gonna avoid seeing it because I need to see it real time.
I hate it so much. I fucking hate. Gio's to the point where he's actually missing the beginnings of movies, or almost, because he's trying to time it perfectly. So this is the last thing they show.
Sure.
Right before they cut it so
that's how
close
they
to the
get you.
bow.
It's Nicole Kidman of the Regal Cinema.
Yeah, and Gio's trying to like time it so that he walks in right as it's ending. But that's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Play with fire.
I mean, it's making people not go to movies.
Speaking of not going,
And they
to
got like
movies,
Danny Trejo's in it, for fuck's sake.
Oh, really?
They got like names in it.
I don't want to hear anymore. What are we gambling on? Then we can get out of here.
Well,
Brian, you might like it.
also Rans.
It's supposed to be fun, so you might
No one
actually
cares
like it.
about that.
Also Rans for Florence. She's got Moana, Princess Bella from Ants.
Moana was the only one. We did the top 5 royals years ago, and she was the only princess on my list, so I left her off.
I read that she wasn't actually a princess.
She was
Okay.
Princess Tilda from the Kingsman movies.
officially recognized as a Disney princess.
Princess Peach from Super Mario Brothers.
Fun fact.
And
Peaches, peaches, peaches.
Princess Shuri from Black Panther.
Peaches. All right.
Yeah, trying to get clever. I was gonna consider including Hela
Mothra?
from Thor, because Thor's
She's the
dad
princess.
is Odin the king, and she's Thor's sister. But
Yeah, she's a princess, but
too
she's
far to go.
what else do I have? Do I have anyone else? No. Oh, Isabella, Braveheart. I watched some clips with her, but she just wasn't doing enough for me. That's it. All right, what do you want from me? I already sent you my list there, Avery, so you don't have to like hound me for it.
Perfect.
You should just send the text to Brian right now.
Same.
All right.
I've just learned to type Brian's out real time.
Yeah, you should just schedule them.
Smart.
All right.
What
Is
else
that
are you
what
doing
do
here?
for Brian? Do you just poor Poor Avery. He shouldn't have.
It's easier than trying to
I know, believe me.
track him down.
Believe me.
Gambling results. Last week we gambled on the very necessary Little Mermaid. Anderson guessed 83. Bryan guessed 81. 255 reviews. The actual Rotten Tomatoes score is 68.
Brian's crushing it. Crushing it.
Feeling good. Feeling real good.
Making Cannon the winner.
Cannon.
All right. Gambling, and let's go.
This week we are gambling, of course, on Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse.
That's right.
Rewatched the OG. Very enjoyable.
It's so good.
Very
It's so
enjoyable.
good.
I already got my tickets for this. 2 tickets, me and Tessa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's psyched.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's all about Gwen Stacy. She's really
I
excited
know.
that Gwen Stacy plays a big role in this one.
Yeah, I got tickets for Addie and I, too. I just don't know if he's going to actually follow through. He might, he's
Might
still.
bail.
Yeah, he might. He gets nervous.
Saturday. Premium format. Dolby.
I'm seeing on Thursday. Yeah.
Dolby.
What was I
I
going
want
to
to
say?
watch
I don't know where
I
to
got
go with
Laser.
this.
Damn it.
I don't know where to go with this.
I know where to go with it. And
Oh,
I
you
got
do?
it. Yeah.
Can you tell me what your number is? first?
1,000.
I'm going with 3.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it'll be a bit higher than 3.
All right. Well,
I would be crushed if this got a 3%.
Can you imagine?
I would stop watching movies.
Right.
Where do I go?
On 3.
Hold on.
We can
no,
do it.
3.
I
On
heard
3.
it.
Fun fact. No movie has ever been rated 3 on IMDb or on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't think that's true.
Probably is 1 or 2.
All right. Ready?
Son of a bitch.
On
Or
3.
3.
Okay. All right.
1, 2, 93.
Okay. 90.
There's my 3.
All right. Anderson guessed 93. Bryan guessed 90. There are currently 0 reviews.
I don't like
There
this new
is
trend.
no
Go either way.
score.
So is this going to count for June? Because the episode airs in June, right? On Friday?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not for Patreon, but yeah, for everybody else.
Well, I mean, for what? For accounting purposes.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, have them in for this. I let Mike Cole figure it out. That's what he
Mike
does
Cole.
very well.
He's the
Picking up
wizard.
Slack.
Speaking of
The
Wizard of Oz.
The wizard.
Man behind the
Speaking
curtain.
of Fred Savage playing video games.
All right, let's get out of here.
Oh, all right.
How is it that we started the show almost 4 hours ago?
It does feel like a slog. I mean,
How is that? I mean, we spend almost all of our time in front of the microphones, but we only did like 2. How does that work?
Well, 3. No, 3 hours.
No, I got here at 5:45.
No, you didn't.
Oh, 6.
You're here like 6:20.
6:15. All right, 6:20.
Wait, I'm very much enjoying Jim
Oh, you're right,
Rutherford's listener. I've seen the listener art.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Oh, remember the little kernel of rice that's stuck in my sinuses. It was making me
Oh,
yell.
yeah.
But I don't get the Forever 21 reference.
I don't either.
And that I don't get.
It must have come up
Do I
on the
shop
initial
there?
episode.
I've never ever mentioned have I?
We probably did.
It must have come up
Okay.
on the first time it was mentioned.
Rice.
Nausicaa.
Not bad. Not bad. Well, good job, Jim Rutherford. Excellent listener art as always.
And please send more. We are running low, so
What did I want today? I wanted to mash up with something.
We need more listener art.
yes.
And the bar's really been raised. You guys are doing some awesome Photoshop. But hey, somebody draw something. Somebody draw something crudely.
Brian.
Crude drawing.
Brian with his requests.
I'm just saying, it doesn't have, you have to be a Photoshop.
Give me illustration.
Illustrate my face.
expert. Wait, have you ever had an animated one?
Like it's
don't
actually
know.
One
moving?
that actually has motion?
I don't know. How do you?
Oh, like that?
GIF?
No. Make
My
make
favorite
a
one.
CGI film about me.
My favorite one is still the
Make a
Jeff
feature-length film.
Pranksky's one where it's a ghost of Anderson Past, and you're
That's what I
sitting in
always
your
wanted.
chair, and you have there's so many details in there, and you're sitting. It's Christmas mornings before either one of our kids are even born, and I see it almost every morning because it's a placemat. Brian Border, my buddy Brian Border, had it made into a placemat for me. So Atticus eats the cereal on it every morning, and Brian's sitting in an armchair. Have you seen this? You know what I'm talking?
It's a classic one.
I think I might.
I'm out looking in the window, like angry, and my ghost is standing next to me because it's Ghost of Anderson, Future Past, and Brian's crying. He's got
It's
a tear
Christmas morning, right?
It's Christmas morning. A bald child is running from the Christmas tree. A discarded Groupers is behind her. Roadhead is in her hand.
I thought it
And-
was shrinkage. Is it Roadhard?
It's Roadheart,
Okay.
Redhead. And it says like the crowdfunding 2-pack or a double feature or whatever
Sure.
because he crowdfunded his movie
Yeah.
too. And she's saying, it's just what I always wanted. And you're crying. You're wiping a tear away as you're sitting in front of a fireplace. And the kicker is you have a bookshelf next to you, which is nothing but shrinkage. Just book after book of shrinkage. And then there's a portrait of him above the fireplace. There's a picture of just Bryan, not even his family, just Bryan above his fireplace.
It's not that far off.
It's so great. There are a bunch of pictures. Not over your fireplace, but in the fireplace room, a bunch of pictures of just you in there, too. There really are. You don't have a bookcase of your book.
Not yet.
That is canon.
Ooh, maybe getting rid of a bunch of those books soon. Very excited.
How? You going to burn them?
That's right.
Oh, the Republicans are coming after you?
Thanks.
He talks about masturbation in the book. We got to burn it.
YOLO. Thanks, Florence, for giving us the topic. Great supporter of the show. We appreciate you. We'll hear you on an upcoming Red Light, Green Light on Patreon, hopefully soon.
How lucky are we that Florence stumbled into our lives? How lucky.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it is you. You're the one who...
All the good things.
All the good things. That's true. Actually, two of the really good things
If
recently
only
are
I
Nick
had
and
known
Florence.
Jillian before you met her.
How's that? Oh, because you
Just
can take credit?
I can take credit. Candy Cigarettes, they're our feature artists this week. Check them out. AndersonandBryan.com. And that's where you check out Jim Rutherford's art. Great as always. Lots of good stuff over going on in our Patreon. Patreon.com/thefilmvaults. We recently talked more than I expected about Succession. So if that's something you're into, check it out. The Amazon link sits there at top. AndersonandBryan.com. Use that if you please. Anderson Bryan on Instagram, Anderson Bryan on TikTok, The Film Vault on Twitter and Facebook, The Film Vault Podcast on YouTube. Loadedforbeardoc.com is where you go to support Anderson's latest creative venture. Thank you to our Patreon listeners, and thank you to everyone who helps the show, including Giovanni, Mitch Burns, Mike Cole, the aforementioned Mike Cole, and Eric Kath. Thank you for your guys' assistance. Until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.